We have a lot of really good songs. Half of them are recorded. Half of them are not. They're demoed, but they're not recorded. He's going to be so mad. I can see the Blabbermouth headlines next to each other right now. Brent Smith says 80% of the records done. Zach Meyer says, what record?
Maybe that's what you should call the album. What album?
Rock, metal, prog, and everything in between. Welcome to this episode of Talkin' Rock with Meltdown. Don't forget to follow the audio-only Talkin' Rock podcast on all podcast platforms. And now, it's time for today's conversation. Here's Meltdown.
Zach, good to see you here in Detroit.
Good to see you. Good to be in Detroit.
It's a big day, of course. You were down at the LCA, the band coming through town July 25th, the Dance Kid Dance Tour. You're hiding tickets all over the place. You're meeting local hockey legends. Well, I guess you knew Darren, so.
I'm a man about town today. I'm just like, I'm taking in all Detroit has to offer to me today.
Yeah. You know, I'm just thinking about this as I'm sitting here. So what is it like? Because I think, when was the last time you played on a big stage?
What?
When you played anything on a big stage?
Last year at some point.
Okay, because last time I saw you was with Chris Porter, and obviously those are smaller stages. But then, you know, when you go out on the big stage, that's a whole nother ball of wax.
It was last year. Shinedown only did 12 shows last year, so it was at some point last year. I don't even remember when or where we played our last show.
Yeah. So you looking forward to getting back out there on tour?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it'll be, man. We've been hard at work designing this show and putting it together, and you know, I've got people threatening to murder me right now for not having a set list. So I'm working on it as best as I can right now.
How many new songs do you think you're going to incorporate into this show?
I would say 2, possibly 3.
Okay.
I think this one's going to be, because we don't have a new record yet. So it's like definitely both singles. And I don't know. I think it's more about finding some older stuff that we haven't played in a while. Like, I feel like for a while now we've like shuffled up the same 18 and just put them in a different order for a while. And then you add in, you know, a couple singles from Planet Zero and whatever record you're on. But I kind of want to switch it up. I mean, you got to, you know, having 23 number one songs it sounds great, and it is, but making a set list with that is hard. Because it's like you can't play all 23. You don't want to play only singles. You want to put, you want to put some stuff in there for the hardcore fans too that have been there for a minute, but it's hard. It's tough.
But at the level you guys are at, it's not as easy just plugging songs in, isn't it? Especially with the production and everything else that goes on.
No, and you got to, everything, you know, with us, we're such a feel band. Like, everything's got to, like, when I make a set list, it takes a lot, first off. But secondly, it's got to feel good. There's got to be an ebb and flow to it. You can't have 2 down songs in a row. You can't have up, down, up, down, up, down. You got to kind of feel it out a little bit. So, and we're also in a weird spot where we have ballads, but they're still like, you don't think of them as slow songs. Like, I don't think If You Only Knew is a slow song.
Yeah,
I don't think I'll Follow You is even a slow song because it has such a big chorus. Like Second Chance, you can't count as a ballad because it's such a big song, and it is our biggest song. So, yeah, you know, it's like you gotta. Setlist dichotomy is weird at this point in our career. It's very hard to do.
I was gonna say, what's weirder, setlist dichotomy or putting the songs on the album in a certain order?
You know what? I've never been really. I kind of let everyone else join in on the sequence thing when it comes to the records. They'll ask us our opinion, manager and label, go, all right, each of you 4 make a sequence. And I'll kind of make one, and then like I'll look at someone else's and be like, I like their homework better. You know, so that's kind of how I don't think I've ever nailed a sequence on a record where it was the one I put together was the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking of this record, so this is your 8th, and this is not a concept record. I was just listening to Planet Zero today, and that record is very much intertwined and tied together, but this one's not. This one is just all different songs. And I wanted to ask you, does that come just from writing the songs, letting them speak to you kind of organically, or do you kind of go into a record saying, let's make a concept record?
I think we went into Attention saying, let's make a concept record. I don't think we meant to do that on Planet Zero, but halfway through, we were doing an interview somewhere, and Brent was like, this isn't a concept record. And I'm like, buddy, this is a bigger concept record than Attention. And it was. I mean, it is a story from start to finish. Just like so this will be our first non-concept album in 7 years.
Yeah.
2018 was Attention. So, yeah, you know what? We just like to write good songs. I don't really think that, I don't ever view it like, oh, we're going to go in and we're going to write a song about this thing. Like we've never done that. And we've never said, let's go write a hit song or let's go write a radio song. let's just go do good work. And if it turns out the way it turns out, or if it fits into a storyline with some other songs we've written, then that's that. But, I just want to write good songs, man. That's all I really care about.
And you're writing these songs, you're working on this record down in Charleston primarily?
Yeah, we're in Charleston, yeah.
Yeah. And so you're saying you don't want to write certain songs about this, but do you have any input into the lyrics, or is that kind of all of Brent? You do? Okay.
No, it honestly, starting around a little bit in Threat, but really starting on Attention, like, honestly, me, Eric, and Brent are kind of collaborative on the lyric writing a lot. I mean, there's songs that Eric wrote most of the lyrics to. And like you look at a song like Dead Don't Die, I brought in Dead Don't Die, done. Brent didn't change one word of Dead Don't Die.
Okay.
The lyrics that were written that I brought to the band and then Eric's had songs where he's pretty much had brought in a whole song. So honestly, Brent kind of letting the reins go on that, I think took a lot of pressure off him too, because he could see that Eric and I could write lyrics as well. Mm-hmm. And it's also because we've been working together for so long. I think that, when you've been working together that long, if he can't figure out what he wants to say, I can probably figure it out for him, and vice versa. You talking about, we played a song earlier, Bully. I had a riff, but it was kind of in reverse of that. And Brent came in and started humming this thing, and that was the riff to Bully. So it's like we all kind of feed off each other, and we've been doing it so long now together that, I think he trusts Eric and I with his lyrical vision, because this band's known as a lyric band. It's, our lyrics mean a lot to a lot of people. So it's hard to, I'm sure it was hard for him to kind of let up the reins on that a little bit, but I think if we have something to say, we'll say it. And if we think Brent's got the reins, it's like, he's one of the best lyric writers there is. So
yeah, it's funny you mentioned that, how you're kind of a lyric band, because there are so many people out there with your lyrics.
There's a lot of lyric tattoos. There's a lot of. We have a lot. I'll say we have a lot of good one-liners. Like there's there's so many that I've seen. Like, and somebody asked me the other day, they're like, which lyric would you get if you got a Shinedown lyric tattooed? And my favorite Shinedown lyric of all time is from I Dare You. It says, "Even in madness, I know you still believe," and I love that.
Yeah. It's funny too, because like with a guy like Brent, or any singer, I would imagine, never having sung or written a song, that you have to have some sort of passion and believe the lyrics that you're singing. So that's what you said, he puts a lot of trust in you guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that, but again, we've been together. I've been with Brent now for, next year will be 22 years.
I was going to say, I thought it was 20. When did you officially join?
I've been in the band since 2004. I officially joined as a band member in 2007.
Okay, 2007. Okay.
But I've been in the band since 2004. Yeah. I was like a hired, I was on stage every night. I wasn't in any of the pictures, but yeah, 2007 is when I became a member of Shinedown.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So the latest songs, Dance Kid Dance, of course, a little social commentary in that one, 365 as well. Talk about Dance Kid Dance.
I guess it probably, you know what it feels like? It feels like this record's not a concept record, but Dance Kid Dance could have been on Planet Zero.
Okay.
And in the sense of
I hear you.
You're talking about what, people overprescribing kids and doing all these things. You know what I mean? It's like, and how we think this one thing will fix everything. So, but it's also just a fun song. The riff is amazing. That's an Eric Bass riff. I can't not take credit for the riff. I wish I could, especially the breakdown part. But yeah, it's a social commentary song for sure.
Yeah, I texted that to Brent the other day, and I think that he appreciated that. 365, of course, talking about the years. Now, things can change year to year. Although I've been here for 30, some things never change.
Yeah. It's that's a tough one. That was it's I don't like telling people what songs are about because but because I think they should take their own. But that's about Eric. Honestly, it's about all of us. All of us experienced a ton of loss in the last year. But Eric specifically lost his dad, sister lost his wife lost his sister, he lost his grandmother. It was a lot. He lost his aunt. It was a lot, and it, and that phrase, a lot can happen in a year, can mean anything to a lot of people, and I think that's the big thing about it.
Yeah. And tell me more about this record. Those are the first two songs we've heard so far. So what else? What other kind of flavors?
I'm not gonna come in here and Brent Smith it and say. And go, oh yeah, the record's done. I love him to death. He's my best friend in the whole world, but he's like, my merch guy will send me press clips and go, record's 80% done. I'm like, no, it's not. It's
here we go.
Here's the dirt.
I can see it already. Yeah. Zach Meyer said the record is not 80% finished.
Let's get to Blabbermouth right now. We're working on it.
Yeah.
We've done this differently than we've ever done a record. So there's really it will be out this year, I think. He says July, August. I don't know when it's going to be out. I think it's going to be out this year. We've never done it this way. We've never released songs before a record was done. Usually record's done, artwork's done, everything's done. Here's the singles.
Okay.
And we wanted to do it different this time. It was, we are in a different world. Do I ever think we'll stop making records and just make singles? No. I don't think we'll ever be that band. I've always said that I believe an album is a portrait of who that artist was at the time that they made it. Mm-hmm. But we're not done with it. People go, well, how's the record? And I'm like, what record? We're working on it. We have a lot of really good songs. Half of them are recorded, half of them are not. Mm. They're demoed, but they're not recorded. He's gonna be so mad because you know what he does? Here's what he does, and I said this earlier today. He likes to put it out in the atmosphere because then he has to be accountable. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I like that. It's like if I say it's coming out this year, I have to make it come out this year. So I got to get to work on it. But we got a lot of touring to do in the meantime. So I'm trying to figure out where this finishing the record fits in. But yeah, it's a work in progress. Shinedown 8 will happen. We're working on it. These are the first two things that we had to put forth for that.
Okay.
I can see the Blabbermouth headlines next to each other right now. Brent Smith says 80% of the records done. Zach Meyer says, what record?
Maybe that's what you should call the album. What album?
What album?
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to call it Here. Here you go.
Here it is.
Yeah.
The 8th studio album.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Hey, so listen, you're just talking about how, you roadied before joining the band. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking about this last night. Did I see pictures of you roadieing with Dimebag?
No, they were playing. They opened for us on a festival when I was with. That had to be Saliva, not Aerosmith or anything. So okay. Yeah, it was Saliva at I believe it was JJO Band Camp in Wisconsin, and that was a day that was the first day I ever met him. So that was 03 or 04.
Yeah. He interviewed. I interviewed him here about 11 months before he passed away. Obviously,
man, the coolest. I was a huge Dimebag fan, and I had always heard of this larger than life personality, and then when he grabs your face and opens your mouth and pours Crown Royal down your throat, you're like, yeah, man, let's do it.
Everybody's got a story.
It's 11 a.m., but whatever.
That's the thing. I've heard some of my friends in bands have told me that they used to hide in their buses hoping he wouldn't know they were in there.
100%. He would go on your bus and find you.
Yeah.
I was talking to Mike Kroger about that the other day in L.A. From Nickelback. His brother one time, Chad Kroger, singer of Nickelback, we were on tour with them in 2010, and they taught us how to tour. And me and Mike I'm friends with all the guys in that band, but me and Mike, every time I'm in LA, he's my dinner buddy, he's my lunch buddy. We hang out every day pretty much.
Great guy, yeah.
The best dude. All those guys are amazing. If you watch the documentary, it shows that. But we were on tour with them, and they taught us how to tour in the sense of they took care of their crew. Every 2 weeks, they would bring in extra massage therapists, manicurists, stylist, haircut for the whole crew and all the bands. And then every Roadie Friday, which if you don't know what Roadie Friday is, that's the last day of run of shows before you have a day off. So there's one Roadie Friday, they would do a party, and they did a margarita party. We're in Dallas, Texas or whatever. I'm asleep in my bunk after that. It's probably 3 a.m. and I told Mike this story, and he goes, that sounds exactly like my brother. And I feel my bunk curtain open, and I'm asleep, and I just feel somebody tap me, and I open my eyes, and it's Chad Kroger from Nickelback. And he goes, wake up. And I go, what? He goes, wake up. I go, why? He goes, we're going to Cabo. And I was like, we had 2 days off. I was like, who's going to Cabo? He goes, me and you. And I didn't know who else was going. And I go, I don't have any clothes. We'll get clothes. I go, dude, my passport. I already got your passport. It's in your backpack. Let's go. And I was in Cabo in about 4 hours.
That's awesome.
From that moment. Yeah. I was
when you're rolling with that guy in 2010, you guys were still doing pretty well, but Nickelback was doing really well.
They were crushing. And they're back to crushing again, dude. It's right now, the fact that It's so funny to me that you tried to make fun of these bands and it backfired on you so hard.
They sell out every show.
Dude, you tried to make fun of Creed.
Yeah.
And then you tried to make fun of Nickelback, and now they're the biggest rock bands there are again. And I love that. And honestly, it couldn't happen to better people. Those dudes, every single person in Creed is the nicest guy.
Yeah.
Every single person in Nickelback is the nicest guy.
Yep.
Like, they're all great.
Yeah, I'll always defend the guys from Nickelback. They take a lot of heat, but they are one of the nicest bands out there.
They took it, and then it's like everybody who gave them like crap, it just backfired, because there was a moment there where it was like, what are they doing? Are they gonna come back out? Are they gonna be just as big? And then everyone was like, you know what? It was like someone stood up at the desk and was like, you know what? I'm done with you talking smack about Nickelback.
Yeah.
And like there was this like revolution, and I love that, because again, man, like, you know, it happens. It only happens to the ones that get too big.
Yeah,
that's it.
No, they're great guys. I mean, look, all the bands from Canada are pretty nice. 3 Days Grace guys. I mean, you go down the list.
Finger 11, 3 Days Grace, all those guys. Everybody's, you know, and there's not a lot of, in our genre, man. I tell people all the time, like, who's like, what's the a-hole you've met or whatever? I'm like, dude, nobody. Like, I don't have a problem. There's a couple that have problems with me maybe, and I have a problem with like a couple, but like most people in this industry are nice, dude.
Yeah.
Like I think all of us are just happy to be where we are. Listen, there's some guys and some bands that are miserable pricks.
Right.
And they've been miserable pricks for the 15 years I've known them, and they're going to be miserable pricks forever. And that's why we just won't play shows with them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I think I got a couple names in my head
Yeah,
right
I'm
now.
sure you know what I'm talking about.
So, hey, listen, so you roadied, like you said before. So would you pay Gene Simmons $12,000 to roadie for him?
Dude, listen. No, I wouldn't. But listen, I respect the hustle so much. Like, I did the math the other day on just the bases he sold on the final tour or whatever, right? Just the bases, not Kiss touring money, which was probably millions and millions and millions, not merch money, which was millions and millions and millions. Just the bases he sold alone, the stage played bases.
And how much was he selling them for?
I think he sells them between $13,000 and $8,000. And I averaged it in the middle.
Okay.
So I did $10,000.
Okay.
And he does 2 a night. I think he made between $5 and $7 million just selling bases.
Jeez.
That is insane.
Yeah.
So the fact that he's like charged, like, dude, I love it. Here's the thing. Why not? Like, everyone's like bashing him about it. I'm like, dude, do it. That guy was so nice to us when we toured with them. The whole band, all of Kiss. We toured with Kiss 2013 through Canada, and we got invited into their little dining room all the time. And I would sit there, and one day Gene had a solid gold axe bass. It was like, it was gold. And I was like, I want that one, but I want you to play it on God of Thunder because I want you to spit blood on it. And he was so nice to me. And we sat down one day and I go, Gene? And he goes, Zachary. He's like, he would always, he has the best dad jokes. Like, he'd walk up to me and I'd have tattoos on my arm, obviously. And he'd go, do you know someone drew on your arm? Or he'd go, there's something in your nose because I have a nose. Yeah. And I said, I want that. I go, I need to talk to you about something. And he goes, do I owe you money? And I said, I don't know. The tour's not over yet. Maybe. I go, but I said, I'm trying to give you money. And he like folds his napkin and like looks at me intently. He's like, yeah, dude, anybody's trying to give me money. And I said, I go, you have a gold axe bass. I said, I go, I want that bass. I said, I'll buy it. I go, I'm not paying $13,000 for it.
Right.
I was like, you can kiss my ass. Like, that's not happening. I go, but I want that bass. And he's like, we'll see what we can work out. And I heard he just charges. It doesn't matter who it is. And at the end of the tour, I didn't get the gold one. But at the end of the tour, he plays God of Thunder, walks off, spits the blood and all that, and handed me just an axe bass that he used on stage, blood on it, for free, didn't charge me for it.
Really?
It was great. It was so cool. I still have it. I love it so much. And then the end of the tour, Paul Stanley gave us all 4 one of his guitars. So not knocking Kiss, not knocking Gene's ridiculous $12,000 roadie proposition. I mean, the fact, it's like, listen, you give me $12,000 and you do everything I tell you to do. Dude, if I could do that, oh my God, that's the greatest gift ever. I love it. Good for Gene.
Yeah, Gene brings it to a new level. There's no question.
Dude, if it's not bolted down, dude, they're selling it.
Right, exactly. How much can I get for that?
Yeah, dude, he's the best.
Yeah. So let's first of all, I want to ask you about some. Do you do the paranormal thing too? I was texting Barry about that and Johnny the other day.
I did the episode that they did in Memphis. I didn't do any of the spooky stuff, but I'm definitely a believer in it.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah, because I was going to say we've got some places around here.
Yeah, dude, the whole city.
Yeah, well, there's a few places.
Bro,
yeah,
come on, the whole city. It's got it. There's ghosts. I saw a ghost broad daylight walking down the street today.
All right, let's get to some of your friends' questions here.
right.
Chris Porter says you're a big pellets smoker guy. He wanted me to go into this big whole thing about how I use wood and all this other stuff,
Yeah, I'm sure he did.
For those that don't know, you toured with Chris Porter, who's a comedian. Great, by the way.
Yeah.
And you guys did the Campfire Astronauts thing, which I saw twice. I might be the only person besides you guys and a couple others that saw the show twice.
Yeah.
So I think you guys played like 7 days or something.
I'm interested to see what other friends you asked questions to. Yeah, I listen. I'm from Memphis. I'm a barbecue guy. I truly believe that's like, you know what it's like somebody, it's like a car driving by and a guy being on a horse being like, ugh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
oh, gotcha,
dude, technology changes. It's still burning wood. I believe in a blind taste test. Put me up against anybody with a stick burner, that's a wood smoker. If you any cooking nerds like me, and I'll cook something on a pellet smoker, and there's no way you can tell the difference.
All right,
0% chance.
Okay.
All right.
That's excellent.
What else do you have for me?
Mark Scogan.
Oh God.
He says, "Why do you order everything for everybody for dinner?"
Okay,
so by the way, Mark is a guy who owns a bunch of, we call him Papa McGrath.
Yeah.
He owns a bunch of restaurants,
grocery stores.
Festival
stores. Foods, yeah.
Yeah, in Wisconsin.
Mark is one of my best friends in the entire world. I'm his therapist. He's my therapist. Mark is the dude that you can call at 3 a.m. and he's like, I got the shovels. Where are we going? You know what I mean? He's just that guy. And I'm a big dinner guy, which is funny. He's asking me this. He is too. He's a big dinner guy too.
He says you order for everybody.
I do. That's what I do. When we go to a restaurant, if there's more than 3 of us at a restaurant, I'm taking over. And I'm going to get usually one of everything on the menu. And that way everybody can share. Because like when you go to, most of the time it's like a steakhouse or an Italian spot or something like that. It's like, well, I'm going to get the ribeye. Well, I'm going to get the filet. Well, I'm going to get the New York strips. Like, how about we just order 4 steaks, get the chef to slice them. We get a bunch of sides. We get a bunch of apps. And then everyone can try everything. That's just the way I've always done it. I'm a big dinner guy. And I get real weird. I pay for dinners. I don't like people paying for my food. Even Mark, who has immensely more money than I do.
Well, all of us.
Yeah. But then everyone everyone within a 10-mile radius of here right now. And so I'm a big dinner guy. That's a good question though.
Yeah, he thinks you moved to Wisconsin to get closer to him.
He's probably right. I bought a house about 45 minutes from him. Yeah.
And he wanted me to ask you about your golf game. How's that going?
People always go, "Are you a golfer?" And I say, "No, I play golf."
Yeah, you were on the golf course with us one time years ago. I just remember that.
I played great that day. Me, you, Howie, and Eric. I played great that day, by the way.
Yeah, Eric's really good.
Eric's a golfer.
Yeah.
I'm a guy who plays golf.
Right.
There's a difference.
Yeah, you're a hack.
Yeah.
Like me.
People are like, "Are you a guitarist?" I'm like, "I play guitar." Yeah, I'm not a golfer. I can play golf semi-decently some days.
And speaking of ordering food, John from your security team.
Okay.
He wanted to know. He wanted me to tell you.
I know this is going to be ridiculous. Go ahead.
He said he wanted me to ask you about ordering shrimp in New Orleans.
Of course he did. Okay. We were on a promo tour, me, Brent, and John. I don't even remember what song it was for. Probably Get Up. We go to New Orleans. It's crawfish season. I go to this place in like the main square near Jackson Square, and I wanted to get some shrimp or crawfish, and they were out, but they had boiled shrimp. And I was like, all right. So we sat down, ordered like 5 pounds of boiled shrimp, and they're real shrimp, head on. So you got to peel them, and there was a couple next to us on what can only be described as a very awkwardly first or second date. They're still trying to feel each other out, all that, right? So I'm peeling the shrimp. They just came out of the boiler. They got this muddy water and sauce everywhere. I peel the head off a shrimp, and I Jackson Pollock the back of this guy's shirt with shrimp guts and brains. He doesn't feel it. And if he does, he doesn't let anyone know. It wasn't like you hit me. Oh, you turn back and look down. Right. And I would have been like, dude, I'm so sorry. Like if he felt it, he didn't let us know. And I was the worst because I didn't let him know. He had a brand new like shirt, fresh pressed, like everything. He's on a date. And I just sprayed the back of this guy's shirt. And John still makes fun of me because I didn't tell him about it. They just got up and left right after, so I was like, I didn't want to but yeah, she probably got back in the car and was like, dude, you smell like shrimp entrails. It was not okay. But yeah, I knew John was gonna come with something.
And finally, Chris Henderson from Three Doors Down wants to know if you ever found his wedding ring at a show. I guess it fell off his finger. I don't know. He put it down or something.
He gave it to me, but he didn't give it to me. He took it off and he put it on the amp rack, but he didn't tell me till after the show. He was it was bothering him while he was playing, and he came over and I was tuning guitars, and he just set it down. And he goes, after the show, I go back to the dressing room. I'm like, dude, killer show. You played great tonight. He's like, hey, did you get my ring? And my cases are in the truck at this point.
Yeah.
I'm like, what ring? He's like, I put my ring on top of the amp. I'm like, buddy, you got to tell me that. You can't just not
right.
So he didn't hand it to me. He set it down without my knowledge. And so, yeah, but no, I still haven't found it, Chris. I'm still looking though.
He says, good dude. He said he wanted me to tell you.
I love Chris Henderson, all the Three Doors Down guys.
Yeah, super good guys. Well, I'll tell you what, Zach, we won't take up any more of your time. The LCA coming up on July 25th with Shinedown, the new record coming out sometime in the next 5 years. We're not exactly sure when. Any guitar solos on the record?
Sometime in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
There's guitar solos on the record.
There is guitar solos.
Dance has a guitar solo.
Yeah, that's true.
More.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
There's some more.
There you go.
There's some cool songs so far.
All right. Well, Zach, thanks as always for swinging by
me.
here. We appreciate it. Good to see you not in Nashville.
Yeah, absolutely.